Okay, hello everyone and welcome to the accessibility and Google Slides presentation for everyone at level 2. I hope you've all had a nice morning so far and that you're ready to jump straight in. So let's go for it. So who are our coaches today? So my name is Niall Ridgway. We've got Tom Coles, we've got Andrew McGrath, and today we have Robert Quigley as well. Yesterday we had Rachel, today we've got Robert. So a little bit about me. My name is Niall Ridgway. I am the Primary 1-2 teacher at Merkinch Primary School, and I also do a lot of the digital literacy stuff for the school as well. I look after our DigiDinos, who are our digital leaders, and just kind of support the whole staff with all of their digitalness. We've got here on the right as well, we've got some of the badges that I've earned recently. So I'm a Google certified trainer, and I've had a look at some of the most common websites and apps that we've been using, especially during lockdown. So here we've got Edpuzzle, we've got the Book Creator certification, we've got Kahoot, we've got the 2 Screencastifys, and lastly we have our Essential Digital Skills Trainer, and that's what we're in today. That's what we're doing. So let's jump straight into part 1. So we're going to have a look at accessibility. So what are the accessibility settings? Well, they are a group of settings that add extra value to the user. Okay, and more often than not, they're to do with your 5 senses. So I've kind of got pictures here just to help you there. So they're there to support your sight, your hearing, your smell, all of your kind of mouth senses, so your taste and your kind of touch with your lips as well, and your touch with your hands. So we can use some of the settings here to support our students. So first of all, we're going to turn this setting on. Now, it's really strange, but for some reason, Google hides this setting really deep into their Chrome OS. So we're going to have a shot at turning it on. Don't worry about if you've not got a Chromebook just now, just watch and kind of note it down. I'll give you a chance to note it down in just a second. If you have got a Chromebook, I'm going to give you 2 minutes after this, after we've gone through it, just to turn it on and have a look. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do is you're going to click down in the bottom right hand corner where it's got the clock. You're then going to click on the settings cog. You're then going to go down to the bottom left, it says Advanced. So you're going to click on the Advanced button. And you're going to click on the little accessibility person down in the bottom left. Now you see what I mean about it being really well hidden. It's not even in the main set of apps there. And up at the top, we've got the option to always show accessibility options in the system menu. So we want to turn that little button blue and we want to move it to the right. Okay, so now it is your turn. So you've got 2 minutes. I'm going to start the timer to turn on your accessibility settings if you have a Chromebook in front of you right now. If you don't worry. Just here at the bottom, I've put a GIF of the last couple of slides that we used, so you can note down what you need to do and where you need to go, so that you can take these notes and you can support your students. So I'm going to set the timer right now. So you've got 2 minutes to do that now. Okay, now that we've done that, everyone should either now have a note of how to turn these settings on, or they've turned them on for themselves. So we're going to move on. So what options are there? So I'm going to talk through these just now. We can turn on Chrome Vox, which is the spoken feedback. Now, this is a brilliant option, especially for children who may not be able to read yet, or children who have English as an additional language. But that setting reads everything on the page. Okay, absolutely everything. Now, on some web pages, there are even some hidden texts that are white text on a white background, and it reads it all. So it's brilliant, but there's a better option. And for me, that option is select to speak. Okay, so I'm going to show you how that works right now. So first of all, I need to turn off the pointer. We're going to stop presenting and then start presenting the whole screen. Okay. Okay, now everybody should be able to see my screen. Okay, now down in the bottom corner, that's where the accessibility settings are. We're going to click on here and we're going to make sure that select to speak is turned on. Now that that's turned on, we get a little button that appears down here. So we can click the select to speak button when we find a piece of text that we want to hear. So I'm going to open up this news story. I'm going to turn up my volume because unfortunately it doesn't come through the presentation. You're going to have to hear it through my microphone. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to click on the microphone and I am going to pull my pink box around the text that I want spoken.
Jurgen Klopp talking to Dan Rohn about being in the same category as legendary managers like Bill Shankly, Bob Paisley and Kenny Dalglish. I don't feel anything about it because I don't see it that way. It's not too important, but if people want to see it like this, I'm not the guy to tell them to stop doing that, but I don't care.
So this is a news article, not to give anyone any spoilers, but Liverpool won the Premier League last night. So this is a news article on that. You might want to share an article with your students, and whether you're in high school, upper primary, lower primary, you can all use this to support your students. Plug in some headphones and they're able to then access the text no matter their ability. So all I did was click the button on the bottom right and highlight anything. Let's go for this bit of text, is a bit smaller.
Kenny was player manager. It's unbelievable. I don't think there is any story that can compare with that. Just incredible. And still in the club, King Kenny.
Okay, so that is how to use the select to speak option. Another option is dictation. So I'm going to open up a new document. So there we go, docs.new. Open up a new untitled Google Doc. Now, for some learners, this is an incredible, scary situation to be in. Okay, there's a blank sheet in front of them. They've got no idea what they want to do. So I'm going to come down to the bottom right, and I'm going to go back to my accessibility settings, and I'm going to turn on dictation. You'll see when I turn it on, I get a little microphone down here. So I can pull down my mouse cursor and I can start talking. Welcome to my presentation on accessibility settings and Google Slides. Now, the accent's not perfect, so Google Flights came up, but I can correct that just by deleting the text. Coming down here again, slides. There we go. So there we go. Now, sadly, it's not got full stops or punctuation, but we have all of the ideas that the learners want to get out of their heads. And sometimes we have, when we're teaching literacy in English, when we're going through our storytelling, you've got all these ideas and you just need to get them out onto the paper. You could give this task to your students and say, go and just speak it into your Google Doc, get all your ideas out there, and then you can arrange them afterwards. So that's a brilliant idea for how to use that. We also use it with the little ones when they want to do Google searches. So I'm going to jump on a wee bit. Here we go. And I'm going to open up. Here is just a normal Google search. Now I could search using this dictation button again. The Highland Council, Scotland. And there we go. Or I can go back and I can click on this button here and I can search with my voice. The Highland Council, Scotland. And it does the exact same thing. So this is how we get our learners from primary 1 all the way up to primary 7 who might find typing, spelling tricky, reading, even recognizing the capital letters on a keyboard as opposed to the lowercase letters. They might find that hard. So you can use the speech to text to support them. Now they're able to access the same materials as everyone else in the class. So I'm going to close these down and we're going to pop back. So we've done select to speak, we've done dictation. High contrast mode is one that is really hard to show. So that is where the colours flip and it makes it a lot easier for some people to see. Now it swaps your whites for your blacks and swaps a few other colours as well, so it's easier to see, but I can't show you through the presentation, it doesn't work. And I tried to screenshot it to send it to you, but that also doesn't work because the screenshot is just taking a normal colour. So you'll have to try that one out for yourself. So that's high contrast mode. We've got full screen magnifier and a docked magnifier. Now the full screen magnifier will fill the whole screen with like a magnifying glass, and the docked one will fill about a third of your screen, half your screen. So we're going to have a look at the docked one just now. So I'm going to turn on my docked magnifier, and now you'll see up at the top that I have the mouse cursor and it follows the mouse wherever it goes. It always stays in the middle. So I can read the word background here, layout, theme, transition, even up here to the tabs. It's not just the current tab that you're on. So I can close down Liverpool's win. This is brilliant for any of your students who are a little hard of seeing, so they've got visual impairments. It's also brilliant for if you have really tiny text on the screen and you're not able to read that. Like this text down here is tiny for me, but up in the magnifier, I would be able to read that just. So high contrast mode, full screen magnifier. Okay, so that is what the docked magnifier does. So I'll turn that off just now. Let me pop back to normal. There we go. We have automatic clicks. So that is where if you leave your mouse in the same position for a certain amount of time, you can set that, that it will click for you. Now this is perfect for children who may not have the fine motor skills yet for clicking, or maybe they have certain needs that restrict them from moving their fingers to click. So they can still move the mouse, but they're unable to click. That'll help them. We've also got the on-screen keyboard. So I'll show you that just now as well. So we pop down to the settings, it's always in the accessibility button. We come down and there's on-screen keyboard. So I'll turn that on. Now, if I go to our classroom, this one, you're able to see that I can type with the keyboard that's here. There's my on-screen keyboard. So I can share with my class, I can share with everyone here. I can move the mouse and say, hello. And I've also got predictions for what the word will be as well. Now, you can get it here and you can get it somewhere else. You might have seen in some of the chats that we've had from yesterday's presentation that you can get the emojis. So the emojis are just in here, just this button here. And here I've got every single emoji that's on kind of the Google OS uses. So all I do to move through them is I click and drag, and I can choose an emoji, quite like the cat one. Let's pop that one in there so we can get it that way. Now there's another way to get your emojis as well. When you're on a Chromebook, you can right click and up at the top it says emoji. So I can do that and it's going to just open up the keyboard and I can choose this emoji now. Okay, so that is the on-screen keyboard. So we're going to turn that off for you now again. And we will pop back to the slideshow. So we've got on-screen keyboard. Up at this side, we've got large mouse cursor. Now, I think you should all be able to see that my mouse cursor is huge at the moment. I've also got highlight mouse cursor, and you'll see that there's a red circle around my mouse as well, where I'm going to click. Now, this helps massively with children who have a visual impairment. It helps when you're creating videos and you're presenting to people so that they know where to look. It also helps if you've got somebody way at the back of the room and they're not able to see what you're presenting. So I honestly would just leave this ticked all the time. These two settings here. Now I've put 4 white ticks in here. These are my favorite ones and the ones that we use most often, certainly in the younger ones. And I think these are the most useful accessibility options for learners from nursery all the way up to university level. These are the ones that you're going to use most often. So I recommend playing about with these and getting to know these ones. We've also got mono audio. That is where you have the same sound going into both earphones. Okay, so stereo is when you've got maybe the drums in this earphone, the guitar in this earphone. Mono is where they're both playing the exact same thing. Highlight text caret, that's just highlighting as we go through, it will move to the next clickable object for you. That's quite a kind of a tricky, that's like a specialized need one, certainly, but by all means go and play around with it and see if you can get it. I still don't know what highlight object with keyboard focus does. I tried playing around with it and couldn't work it out, so if you work it out, let me know. And sticky keys, you've probably all been in your ICT suites at some point in your teaching career and you've just heard somebody whacking on the keyboard 5 times and a bloop appear, and it's a very sharp and annoying noise. That is the sticky keys turning on. So sticky keys means you just press it once, you can take your fingers off and you can press another key, and it's the same as pressing down 2 keys at the same time. So this is what we did. We turned on the speech and sound buttons, we looked at the magnifier, we looked at speech to text. Now there's also a few other options as well. Now this is the same in Google Docs and Google Slides. In Google Docs there's also an added option where you can get a pop-out for the speech to text, but they both do basically the same thing. So in Google Slides there's actually another hidden menu that's going to appear just here where the words last edit are. So to access that you need to click on Tools, you need to click Accessibility Settings. So it's Tools, Accessibility Settings. You're then going to get this pop-up window here. If you turn on all 4 of these buttons, you get the secret menu that appears. And that gives you the option to speak, so that's just your text-to-speech and speech-to-text. We've got these 3, which are navigation options, so that'll take you to a different part of Google Slides. So go to Film Strip, go to Canvas, go to Speaker Notes. You can use your voice to support the comments that there, create comments and answer comments. You can have a look at any misspellings and you can arrange the formatting as well. So to do that, I'll show you again. It's just Tools, Accessibility Settings down at the very bottom. Turn on all of these settings and you get the secret menu. Now to be honest, most of these options can be achieved from down in the bottom right hand corner where we've just turned that setting on, but it's nice to have those extra settings there to support your learners. Okay, now there's 1 or 2 more settings that I'm not able to show you because they only appear on my screen and not on the shared screen. So I've made a quick video for you. So I'm just going to turn that down. I'm also going to change to this presentation mode to a Chrome tab. I'll give it a second. Okay, everyone should now be able to see this tab here. So we'll turn this off just now. And it's going to show you the laser pointer option, and it's also going to show you how to turn on captions.
Okay, 2 features of the Google.
So I'll just increase the quality there.
Accessibility settings that appear down the bottom left-hand corner. So I'm going to move my mouse down there. One option is the pointer. So you can have a laser pointer, so whenever you move your mouse, everybody is able to see what you're pointing at. Here I am highlighting the words slides accessibility. The second one is the captions. Now, whenever I speak, everyone in the room is able to read what I am saying. So you might want to use that for when you have a student or a group of students who might find it easier to read what you're saying as opposed to hearing what you're saying. I can use this caption setting to support learners who prefer to read as opposed to hearing.
Okay, so that is how you can use the accessibility options to support your learners in Google Slides. Let's pop back a bit. Come on. There we go. Okay, now you will see that down here when I click on captions, there's actually an option to make the text even bigger. I found that out when after I'd made the video. So so you can make the text even bigger. That will support not only children who prefer to read, it will support people at the back of a room when you're making a presentation, but it also is great for any children who have English as an additional language as well, because when you're hearing the words and reading them at the same time, it's easier to kind of absorb the language. You're able to work out exactly what's being said. So I would advise turning that on for any presentation that you make. You can also get an extension for Google Chrome for the Open Dyslexia font. It looks just like this, and when you click on this big O here, I've actually linked the extension here for you. So you can download that straight to your Chromebook if you need to, or to any device that has Google Chrome. You just click Add to Chrome and it'll be there. And you'll see that, let's present again. Now you'll see that this Google page just looks different. So all it does is it changes the font of the websites or pages that you're on to the dyslexia-friendly Open Dyslexic font. So all of the letters and sounds are heavily weighted to the bottom. In theory, it's supposed to stop the words from jumping around and running all over the place for anyone who has an indication of dyslexia. Try it out and see if it supports your learners. There's also another option as well that is included in all of the G Suite products, and that is the Chelsea Market font. So I've put a screenshot here of how to find it. When you're creating a document or a slide, it's just another font for you to use. It's one of the included ones in G Suite. So you can turn it on kind of whenever you like. This is what it looks like. And again, they're more heavily weighted and they're a little bit chunky in different places, so it's easier to read. Now, one reason that I also really like it is you'll see that the A shape is similar to how we teach our pupils and how we teach them how to handwrite it and write it. So that's one reason that I like it, certainly for the wee ones. Yeah, so Chelsea Market is a brilliant font to use. It's certainly the one that I use for most of my lessons with my class. Now it is your turn. So if you're on a Chromebook, you can play around with those settings and see what you like. You can turn them on. You can join your breakout rooms as well if you're not on a Chromebook, or even if you have a Chromebook. And I've got a few questions here for you to talk about. So how could using the accessibility settings help you as an adult? I know that I use the 4 that were ticked. Let's go back to show you. The select to speak, dictation, large mouse cursor, and highlight mouse cursor all the time. I've pretty much got them on turned on constantly. Select to speak is great for maybe you find a new word that you're unaware of. It's good for that. Dictation is brilliant when you're doing your cooking for the dinner or lunches. Then you can turn on the dictation and you can dictate what you're wanting to find for the recipe, or maybe you want to take notes as you're doing something else. Large mouse cursor and highlight mouse cursor are great for making your videos as well. So I've got them on all the time. Skip through again. There we go. How could these settings help your class? What parts would you use the most in your class? And is there a pupil that sprung to mind? How would this help them? Now, obviously, you don't need to tell us pupils' names, but just talk about ways that these could support your learners. So you've got 5 minutes. I'll put the timer up. Pop into your breakout rooms just now, join and have a wee chat about these questions here. I'll leave this up for you as well. So I'll see you in the breakout rooms.